Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ifactner.com's Learn Dutch for Beginners video tutorial series. Today's tutorial is a grammar tutorial in which we will learn how to place subject and verb in the simple and question phrases in Dutch. Phrases are called zinnen. A simple phrase or a single phrase is called zin, and phrases are zinnen. Subject is called onderwerp, and verb is werkwoord. Let's start our lesson. First, we will make some simple sentences. In English, Bob speaks English. Bob is a subject and speaks or speak is a verb. In Dutch or Netherlands, we say Bob spreekt Engels. Bob spreekt Engels. Bob is an onderwerp and spreekt is a work word. We can also use he in English instead of Bob. If we are talking about him, we can say he speaks English. In Dutch, we say hij. Hij spreekt Engels. So just like in English, subject, that is onderwerp, and verb, that is werkwoord, comes first and at the first and second places. Let's take another example. Mel writes a letter. Subject is a Mel, and writes is a verb. In Dutch, we will say Mel schrijft een brief. Mel schrijft een brief. So, Mel is onderwerp, schrijft is a work word. We can also say in English, she writes a letter. In Dutch, we use zij. Zij schrijft een brief. Let's take another example. Bob plays football. Bob, subject, plays, verb. In Dutch, Bob spelled football. Remember, V is pronounced as fe in Dutch. Therefore, it is Bob spelled football. Bob is onderwerp and spelled is werkwoord. For the third person, that is Bob. In English, we can also say he plays football. In Dutch, we say hij speelt football or football. Let's take another example. Mel reads a book. Mel, subject, reads, verb. In Dutch, Mel leest een boek. Mel is onderwerp and leest is werkwoord. Mel leest een boek. In English, we can say she reads a book. In Netherlands or Dutch, we say zij leest een boek. Let's take another example. Bob listens to the radio. Bob, subject, listens, verb. In Dutch, Bob luistert naar de radio. Bob luistert naar de radio. Bob, onderwerp, luistert, werkwoord. And we can also say he listens to the radio. In Dutch, we will say hij luistert naar de radio. Now we will take examples of some question phrases. In Dutch, question phrases are called vraagzinnen. Questions are vragen. A single question is vraag. A single phrase is zin, and more than one phrases are called zinnen. So it's vraagzinnen. You will notice that in Dutch, usually we combine two or more words into a single word. So here we have got vraag and zinnen, which are two words in English, but in Dutch we combine them into a single word. Let's take few examples. Dutch is relatively simpler for vraagzinnen or for question words. For example, in English we have to add does. Bob speak English, and we have to remove S because we have added ES in the question. So we have got does Bob speak English. To form a question in English, we use do or does plus subject plus verb. But in Dutch, we will simply say spreekt Bob Engels. Spreekt Bob Engels. Remember, we said Bob speaks English. Bob spreekt Engels. For the question sentence or a vraagzin, we have just changed the order of onderwerp and the work verb. For the question forms, work words or werkwoorden, workword comes first and then the subject. If we want to say, does he speak English in Dutch, then we would say, spreekt hij Engels? So it's simpler in Dutch. Let's take another example. Does Mel write a letter? In English, does plus subject plus verb for a question sentence. In Dutch, we will say schrijft Mel een brief. So we have just changed the order of onderwerp and word for the question form. Schrijft Mel een brief. And if in English we say, does she write a letter? Then in Dutch we will say, schrijft zij een brief? Schrijft zij een brief? Let's take another example. Does Bob play football? For the question form, does plus subject plus verb in English. In Dutch, simply we change the order of the werkwoord and onderwerp, and we say speelt Bob football? Speelt Bob football? And if in English we say, does he play football? Then in Dutch we will say speelt hij voetbal. Let's take another example. Does Mel read a book? Does plus subject plus verb. In Dutch we will say leest Mel een boek. For a simple sentence we said Mel leest een boek. And to form a question verb or a question sentence, we just changed the order of the onderwerp and the work word. So we have gotten leest Mel een boek. That is work word plus onderwerp. If in English we say does she read a book, then in Dutch we will simply say leest zij een boek. Let's take another example for the question sentence. Does Bob listen to the radio? In English, subject does plus subject plus verb, and in Nederlands or Dutch we will say luistert Bob naar de radio. Luistert Bob naar de radio. We just changed the order of onderwerp and work word to form a question, zin or a sentence. So we have got werkwoord plus onderwerp and the rest of the sentence. If in English we say does he listen to the radio, then in Dutch we will simply say luistert hij naar de radio. Guys and girls, this time I will repeat the whole lesson in Dutch. Please listen to me carefully as we will be doing a speaking exercise after it. Bob spreekt Engels. Hij spreekt Engels. Onderwerp plus werkwoord. Mel schrijft een brief. Zij schrijft een brief. Onderwerp plus werkwoord. Bob speelt voetbal. Hij speelt voetbal. Onderwerp plus werkwoord. For a simple sentence. Mel leest een boek. Zij leest een boek. Onderwerp plus werkwoord. Bob luistert naar de radio. Hij luistert naar de radio. Onderwerp plus werkwoord. Vraagzinnen. Spreekt Bob Engels? Werkwoord plus onderwerp. Werkwoord is verb, and onderwerp is subject. Spreekt hij Engels? Schrijft Mel een brief? Schrijft zij een brief? Werkwoord plus onderwerp. Speelt Bob voetbal? Speelt hij voetbal? Werkwoord plus onderwerp. Leest Mel een boek? Leest zij een boek? Werkwoord plus onderwerp. Luistert Bob naar de radio? Luistert hij naar de radio? Werkwoord plus onderwerp. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we will do a speaking exercise. This time I will speak in English and you will speak that sentence in Dutch. Let's start. Bob speaks English. Please speak. Bob spreekt Engels. Subject is called onderwerp. Good. And verb is called werkwoord in Dutch. If I say he speaks English, then please speak in Dutch. Hij spreekt Engels. And to form a question form, we will just change the order of werkwoord and onderwerp. So to ask a question, we will just say, spreekt Bob Engels and question mark. Mel writes a letter. Please speak in Dutch. Mel schrijft een brief. She writes a letter. Please speak in Dutch. Zij schrijft een brief. Bob plays football. Please speak in Dutch. Bob speelt football. He plays football. Please speak in Dutch. Hij speelt football. Remember, subject is onderwerp and verb is werkwoord. Mel reads a book. Please speak in Dutch. Mel leest een boek. She reads a book. Please speak. Zij leest een boek. Bob listens to the radio. Please speak in Dutch. Bob luistert naar de radio. He listens to the radio. Please speak in Dutch. Hij luistert naar de radio. Question phrases are vraagzinnen. Let's start. Does Bob speak English? Please speak in Dutch. Spreekt Bob Engels? So to ask a question, we have just changed the order of werkwoord and onderwerp. Werkwoord comes first and onderwerp comes second for the question form, and for a simple sentence, onderwerp comes first and werkwoord comes second. Does he speak English? Please speak in Dutch. Spreekt hij Engels? Does Mel write a letter? Please speak in Dutch. Schrijft Mel een brief? Does she write a letter? Please speak in Dutch. Schrijft zij een brief? Does Bob play football? Please speak in Dutch. Speelt Bob football? Does he play football? Please speak in Dutch. Speelt hij football? Does Mel read a book? Please speak in Dutch. Leest Mel een boek? Does she read a book? Please speak in Dutch. Leest zij een boek? Does Bob listen to the radio? Please speak in Dutch. Luistert Bob naar de radio? Does he listen to the radio? Please speak in Dutch. Luistert hij naar de radio? So guys and girls, in today's lesson, we have learned that subject is called onderwerp and verb is called werkwoord in Dutch. For a simple sentence, we have got onderwerp plus werkwoord combination, and for a question form, we just change the order of onderwerp and werkwoord. That is, werkwoord comes first and then we use onderwerp. Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. If you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and visit ifactner.com. I will see you in the next lesson. Until then, take care. Good day.